Good morning. This unfortunately is going to be another one of those spray foam insulation videos. I've been a little bit quiet on LinkedIn lately, just because I've been exceptionally busy, and I've also been putting wheels in motion for my most recent study, which is why I'm talking to you from my roof void this morning. So as we all know, there's a lot of questions still to be asked about spray foam insulation. How damaging is it to the atmospheric conditions in a building and in a roof void, and what the effects to the timbers. So nobody seems to have done actually a study on the effects, i.e. monitoring the environmental conditions in the building, the roof void, and monitoring the moisture content of the timbers. So in recent weeks, I've been in contact with several clients that have got spray foam insulation installed, and we put together a program where we're actually going to monitor these buildings over the winter period. So that starts from now, October, and it's going to run through till March next year, and if possible we'll even try and extend it to next summer. So we've got a study group, myself and my colleague Graham Coleman. We're going to be doing the research, and the study has been sponsored by our friends at Tramex in Northern Ireland. They've sent us all the monitoring equipment that we need. So this morning I'm at my first property. This is a two-storey left semi-detached cottage that had spray foam insulation installed a couple of years ago. You can see that behind me. This is open cell spray foam, and it's applied directly to the underside of Tyvek, which is a vapor permeable membrane. The first thing we've done is we've surveyed the building. We've surveyed the roof covering. We've had the drone up. I might be able to drop a couple of pictures into this video just to show you. This building actually belongs to a guy called Alan. Alan's been quite vocal in recent weeks and months about the problems associated with spray foam, because after having his spray foam installed a couple of months ago, he was in a position where he wanted to do some equity release or remortgage to help his daughter buy a house, and he's being refused borrowing on the property as a result of this spray foam, irrespective of it being a problem or not. We're not quite sure yet. So I'll just run through with you some of the things we've been looking at. We've done a survey of the building, its orientation, description of the roof covering, reasons for installation. That was in Alan's case to improve thermal efficiency of the building. It wasn't grant funded, and the contractor who installed it is actually still in place. Alan does have a 25-year warranty for this installation, although I'm not entirely sure what the warranty covers yet. We've looked at what type of insulation it is, the thickness of the insulation, whether all the timbers are encapsulated, whether electrical items are encapsulated, existing insulation in the roof, type of roof construction, roof design, provisions for ventilation, roof condition, condition of rainwater goods and other elements, existing vapor barriers, moisture content of the roof timbers, ambient conditions in the roof void, ceiling construction, ceiling perforation, occupancy numbers, and household ventilation. And most of that information there is listed really in the PCA's guidance for surveying existing buildings with spray foam insulation. So I'll just show you quickly what I've been doing this morning. I'll just have to step over carefully. Okay, so in the background here you'll be able to see we've got a lot of equipment set up. I'll pan the camera around. Okay, we've got some environmental loggers, this one here and this one here. These are recording atmospheric conditions in the roof void. There's two, so I've got a backup in case one fails. They're also linked to WMC loggers here. So this one here is recording the moisture content at the surface of the timber. Okay, and then what we've done is we've used some deep wall probes. Okay, so we've got two holes drilled right to the outer surface of the wood there, and we're also recording the moisture content of the timber at depth. As you can see, I put a little bit of electrical banding on there to make sure that that doesn't fall out. We've also got a little bit of glue in there, so we've got some pressure on the probes deep into the wood, and we've got it nice and secure so it won't fall out. In addition to that, we've got a Lascar logger here. with a temperature probe in here, and we've also got an additional temperature probe here from Tramex, which goes through the spray foam insulation to the underside of the vapor permeable membrane. And what we're doing there is measuring the temperature at the interface between the membrane and the spray foam to determine whether we reach dew point. We've also got some loggers inside the property on the landing, measuring the atmospheric conditions internally and externally. So that's just one property. We've got 3 properties in the study. We've got another one again with spray foam insulation, which I'm heading to next, and then we're going to use these conditions or measure these conditions against a building that doesn't have spray foam, so we can see what effect the spray foam is having. Anyway, so this is the study that's just been started. It will run, as I said before, from October this year till March 2024, at which point we will collect all the data recorded by several loggers, which is going to be thousands of points of data, and we will start to build a trend and work out what's happening. And then from that point on, myself and Graham we'll do a write-up and we'll publish this study. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm pretty sure I'll be posting more about the study in future weeks and months to come. And yeah, let's get some real data and see what this stuff is actually doing to our roofs. Thank you.